get right into it. And as you can see, I am not going to proceed with the cookies at the bottom of my page here. So thank you for your patience with that cookies message notification there at the bottom. We're going to go ahead and jump into it. This is one of the markets that I serve and do business in. That actually, this is both areas, both cities, municipalities. This area is called the Southeastern region of the United States. I enjoy the region. I'm a huge fan of the Southeastern region of the United States, especially coming from the West Coast of the United States. I appreciate the energy, the culture, the diversity from what I've experienced, and the opportunity to learn and grow through challenges and opportunities, which at the end of the day, all challenges are opportunities to grow. And so, do business in Nashville, done business in Atlanta, and especially in urban areas when it comes to employment, workforce development and training, urban core development, real estate development, local and nonprofit, local business and nonprofit development. And so this is important, and I hope that we can get this individual on the Insight to Insight, All Things Societal podcast with your own Danavan Hylton. Fun fact: Lord of Glencoe, or registered Lord, uh, Lord of Glencoe, in Lord of Glencoe in the country of Scotland, courtesy of Highland Titles. And so definitely love to see if we can get this individual on the podcast. So let's jump into it. Federal Reserve's Bank of Atlanta. This is huge, especially in the work that I do when it comes to business, civics, and uh, community relations. The Federal Reserve, a lot of people are not aware, and the role it plays, the origin, the function, the purpose, and how that may or may not affect your life, especially in the southeastern region. And so we definitely want to shout out or recognize and take a look at the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta. And let's move into it. So Atlanta, a press release here, and this is coming from atlantafed.com. First and foremost, this is the press release uh, released May 2nd, 2025 from the Atlanta Fed, FED.org. atlantafed.org. Here we go. Emily Mitchell, Regional Economic Information Network Director, has been named Assistant Vice President and Regional Executive for the Nashville branch of the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta. She will fill the leadership responsibilities of Laurel Griffey, who is departing the Atlanta Fed on June 30th after 20 years of service. So first of all, a huge shout out, congratulations, and rest, peace, relaxation, prosperity, all those things to Laurel, if I'm pronounced your name correctly, and the work you've done for 20 years with the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta. Stand in agreement for your continued success for your personal life, for your career, and for your loved ones, family, and friends. And I do want to shout out and recognize Emily Mitchell, who was the Economic Information Network Director and being named Assistant Vice President and Regional Executive for the Nashville branch of the Federal Reserve Bank of America. Now, commercial break me, please, and shout out to my friend Joe T. Baker III that introduced me to that statement. I'm gonna use that word for now. To that saying, um, commercial break me, please, because I watched his YouTube videos where he shared his story of him going through 10 years of incarceration, how he led to state penitentiary incarceration, his story, his perseverance, and what he's doing now. And huge fan of his work. I stand in agreement for his continued development and opportunity to inspire and stimulate others to be the best that they can be through their own choices and empowerment. But jtb3.org, J as in Joe, T as in Tom, B as in Baker, numerical number 3, jtb3.org, O-R-G. Check them out. Great story. Commercial break me, please. I want to go ahead and copy and paste Emily Mitchell. I'm assuming she has a LinkedIn, so we're going to go to the LinkedIn here, and Emily Mitchell, and she's already respectfully updated her title. I know that is right. I'm going to connect, but I'll do that another time. Emily, if you're watching, congratulations again, standing agreement. Oh, we have a lot of mutual friends off the bat. Two movers and shakers. So, Emily, if you're first of all, congratulations again. How exciting! I know it's a experience, and I'm almost certain it's well deserved. Only say almost certain because we haven't had a chance to meet yet. But individuals that I know are putting these positions for the work that they have done, the leadership and humility that they have, and the opportunity to learn and grow in the future. And that's what really um, great people do to build brands and make them stronger. So stand in agreement on your success and congratulations. We'll love to have you on my podcast so that we can learn more, share your story, and help inspire others, especially emerging leaders, to do the best that they can. And so, just real quick about Emily, Regional Executive, Federal Reserve of Bank of Atlanta in Nashville metropolitan area. Huge right there. So we got to make sure that we're aware of these things as we do business and service. People first leader. This is about Emily Mitchell. People first leader, passionate about work that furthers economic prosperity and resilience in our communities. I bring 15 years of experience leading work focused on relationship building, huge, complex strategy and implementation, and translating between technical and public audiences. We'll leave it there, but definitely make sure we'll have the link to Emily if it's relative to you. To connect with Emily, she's taking care of business, so definitely professionalism and purpose is always requested. And so, going back to the article, in this role, Mitchell will provide strategic oversight for the Atlanta Fed's economic intelligence gathering with the focus on activities in the branch's territory covering Tennessee. She will work with the bank's other regional executives to collect targeted economic intelligence to help assess how people are experiencing the economy and a more holistic picture of the economy, putting Main Street perspectives on the table during monetary policy conversations. She will likewise contribute to the bank's outreach activities in the Middle and East Tennessee regions. And respectfully, I'm just going to throw it out there. This is what I would love to really jump into as far as the core of a conversation with Emily. A huge another part of the conversation is I'll talk to Emily. I'll throw it out there now so Emily can kind of brainstorm and hopefully we can work together. Emily, how can this opportunity that you have been put in benefit or complement, challenge, grow, stimulate respectfully the urban areas of Tennessee, especially your Nashville, Memphis, Chattanooga areas at the minimum, those rural areas like your Robertson counties, like your what is it, Columbia areas and the Franklin corridor area, Franklin Columbia corridor area. Just again for the urban perspective and connecting with younger young adults and emerging leaders and professionals. How do we tie in that community engagement? What does that look like? What can I do to help bring those resources and that access to you? It's very real, and I know this would be awesome to stimulate a whole community and more. So we're back into the article. Mitchell served in her previous role as REIN Director in Nashville since 2018. She joined the Atlanta Fed in the Community and Economic Development Department as a manager in 2011. In that role, she managed the department's administration and operations. Prior to the Fed, Mitchell worked as a senior program director for Maryland based Enterprise Community Partners. Mitchell earned a bachelor's degree in business and communications from the University of Alabama. I'll go ahead and say it, roll tide. Now, I am a lover of all, commercial break me please, all universities and colleges. Again, I'm going to shout out that Southeast region. I love the Southeast region because I became a fan of the SEC. The SEC to me is a very competitive, especially in football. I wasn't really a follower, but each team, commercial break me, but each team in the SEC to me when it comes to football, basketball, baseball, but I just love watching on football, bring so much heat and passion and coming in hot that it could be anyone's game. And a lot of the teams from my past experiences are just as competitive or more competitive as far as wins than other teams around the country because the SEC is so compact with so much talent, and those teams battle it out, and you get a bunch of losses that they probably wouldn't have gotten. A lot of the teams, if they were in different conferences. Respectfully, that is, I say this respectfully. I'm a huge fan of the Southeast region and the SEC. And the fun fact is, when I worked at a high end hotel in downtown Nashville, coming straight from the West Coast, having no clue. This is when I'm coming back when it was the Pac-10. Now it's the Pac-12, I believe, and everything. This is back to So anyway, I'm coming fresh from the West Coast. I'm working at this high-end hotel. I'm serving as a bellman or bellhop, and I'm learning about the history of Auburn and Alabama. And I love when those two teams play. So much passion and history there. I'm open to either team winning because they just go so hard. Just a great. That's what she said. Bad joke. Pause. All that stuff. Don't, I said it's all professionally, but you have to laugh a little bit. So, they try their best and compete, and so I do enjoy that. And my point is, I was learning about that and watching ESPN documentary about the trees being vandalized with tissue over them and all that. Learn the history, and so someone had, I think it was Alabama. It was Alabama stuff. No, no, no. It could have been Alabama or Auburn. No, no, it was Auburn. They had Auburn stuff. They had Auburn, I had the car, and we're going up the elevator to their room. I think it was a family or maybe even like a business group, about 3 4 people. But if it's a family or a business group of 3 or 4 people, and I see the Auburn, I'm learning about the history of the SEC, learning about the history of the Auburn, Alabama. I said, "Oh, Auburn, Roll Tide," thinking that that was War Eagle. I think that's what it's called for Auburn, and I didn't know that. And respectfully, the individual, you could just see their face turning red. They try to stay professional. The bottom line was I couldn't even get back down. I couldn't even unload the person's stuff and get back downstairs to the lobby. By the time I got down there, I had the general manager pulling me to the side, having a conversation with me, not necessarily losing my job, but it was like almost there because it's high end. It's very personable, it's very customized, and I'm very skilled at that. But I said the wrong thing, and it is basically now you got to know your stuff or don't say nothing, respectfully. So I see Alabama, I just think about that, and I just appreciate that culture. So, anyway, thank you for your patience on that conversation. But moving back to to the article, we'll repeat that last sentence. Mitchell earned a bachelor's degree in business and communication from the University of Alabama. She also holds a degree in urban and regional planning from Virginia Tech, and in international policy and in international policy from American University. Very impressive. We want to jump into all these conversations, all these things with you, Emily. Just get to know your story and help inspire us. I'm going to go ahead and read this disclaimer at the bottom. It may not be a disclaimer, but I'm go ahead and use those words. The Federal Reserve, or just a note here, the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta serves as the 6th Federal Reserve District, which encompasses Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and sections of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Tennessee. As part of the nation's central banking system, the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta participates in setting national monetary policy, supervises numerous commercial banks, and provides a variety of financial services to depository institutions and the United States. And that's why, Emily, I look forward to this conversation, especially if we're talking about, impact. We want to talk about, as part of the nation's central banking system. What is that? What does that look like? You're gonna help, a whole community, including myself. I think it's awesome. What is that? What is the nation's central banking system? And what does that look like when it comes to participating in setting national monetary policy? I know you're skilled and experienced in that, supervising numerous commercial banks and providing a variety of financial services so financial services is a whole financing or finance is a whole, to me, sector that I'm learning and growing into building your credit score, to to purchasing a life insurance policy. Um, you know, just things that create a foundation for you to other things like setting up your legal structures and trusts and LLCs and just a lot of things that I feel myself I didn't do the best at the minimum myself of getting these things. So I'm doing a lot of great work, but I'm not positioning and leveraging myself all the way in finance. Putting money in stocks and bonds and allowing those things to appreciate at the minimum as you're going through your day. These are things that I really want to open up to a community that I serve, a community I'm a part of, and if nothing else for myself. And that's why I wanted to jump into this conversation and stimulate those minds. AtlantaFed.org. Thank you for your time and look forward to connecting with you in the next video. Peace.